Hey guys, there are certain teams, certain players, of which when their name is spoken, it conjures the imagination. If I say the name Jordan, you immediately start to think of Michael Jordan and the Bulls. If I say San Antonio Spurs, you may start to think immediately about Tim Duncan, or the Jazz, Karl Malone. Football has the same thing. We think of the Niners and we still think of Joe Montana. But what about baseball? I don't think it's that much different. I think when you hear names like the LA Dodgers, you may think of current players, but your mind still goes back to the greats. Jackie Robinson. New York Yankees, everybody still thinks about Babe Ruth. Think about Lou Gehrig or Joe DiMaggio, but the names go back to a certain time. All of them. And some of that is no different for other teams. If I ask you, who do you think about when you think about the San Francisco Giants? You're going to tell me the same thing. You're going to tell me Willie Mays. He hasn't played for how long? I think 73 maybe was his last season. So it's been a while, right? And yet all those guys I named, every single one of them, there was a group of guys around them that helped to solidify their legacy. And they needed those guys to help get them over the hump to the next legendary status, if you'll have it. For a while, Mike Trout had Albert Pujols and Shohei Ohtani. David Robinson was part of the Twin Towers for the San Antonio Spurs. Scottie Pippen, of course, with the Chicago Bulls. But going back to other teams, who do you think about when you think about the legacy of those teams? For the San Francisco Giants, you may think about others. You may think about Orlando Cepeda or Monty Irvin. But there's another guy I would like for you to think about, and I want to show you some of his cards today. He won't have Willie Mays' numbers. He didn't amass 3,293 hits. He doesn't have a career batting average of 301 or 660 home runs. Willie Mays had a WAR of 156.2. He doesn't have that. But he was still a great player, and he still has over 500 home runs in his career. So I'm going to spin this around and reintroduce you to Willie McCovey. Let's turn this around and look at my collection of cards I have on him. The man whom McCovey Cove is named after. Willie McCovey was born on January 10th in 1938 in Mobile, Alabama. The seventh of 10 children, Willie grew up in a house where both parents demanded discipline and respect. A dominant southpaw power hitter, Willie McCovey would be known for the speed in which the ball left the bat. This is his 1960 rookie card. His rookie year was actually 1959, where he would play in only 52 games. As you can tell, he's got that golden trophy already on the card. In those 52 games that year, he had 219 plate appearances. Willie McCovey would bat with an average of 354, according to Baseball Reference, an on-base percentage of .429. He had 13 home runs and 38 RBIs. With these numbers, he would win the 1959 Rookie of the Year award. I believe this is still the shortest amount of games played or plate appearances, not to include pitchers, for a rookie to win that award. One of the things I love about this card is the color. The color is still really, really good, and the print quality on here is really good. And yes, I can see all the wonderful little imperfections, but I think that just means somebody probably really liked the card. So this is not his only card from that year. He also had, in 1960, another card because Willie McCovey was an All-Star. And so this is Willie McCovey's All-Star card. And once again, I think it's just really good coloring on the card. And you can see they're already talking about his power. But Willie drove in 27 runs in his first 22 games this season. So just automatically came out of the gate just playing really, really good baseball. Though Willie McCovey would have many injuries over the years, he would stay in the league until 1980, where he retired with his San Francisco Giants, the same place he got his start. He did have a small stint with the San Diego Padres. Willie McCovey would be a mainstay with the Giants organization even after his retirement, showing up to games and making appearances until the end of his life. He never won a World Series, but he was the final out in the 1962 World Series Game 7 against the New York Yankees in a heart-crushing 1-0 loss. His stats are pretty incredible, though. 2,211 hits, 520 home runs, and a batting average of .270. I cannot say I ever remember watching Willie McCovey play, but I did enjoy getting to know more about him and see all these cards. As you already know, just outside of the right field side of Oracle Park, there in San Francisco, is a small body of water named McCovey Cove. Barry Bonds made it famous for hitting home runs out of the park, literally. When the park opened, sports writers Mark Purdy and Leonard Copette apparently labeled the small body of water McCovey Cove because, and this is me summarizing, they believed he would have launched dozens of balls into the bay had he played in that stadium. Balls hit into the water are called splash hits, by the way. McCovey would die on October 31st, 2018, at the age of 80, from just a lot of health issues. This is his 1963 card and is one of my favorites because whoever owned it in the past had written McCovey's number and the year of the card on their card. 44 is one of my favorite numbers, obviously, since you know the name of my channel. So one of the Major's most explosive hitters, who was actually passed up by the guy who found Hank Aaron, believe it or not. See, I believe, if my memory's correct, this is the 67 Fence Busters card. You can see how tall he is here. It's just incredible. Might have to move some of these out of the way soon. This is the 1968 card. Once again, if you wonder why or how I look at cards, color fades. I mean, I know people talk about centering and corners, and I'm not necessarily for round corners, but color to me is really important. It just tells me that the card was kept out of the light. One of my favorite years of the cards, 1970. Willie got 4 hits off Robin Roberts, his first game in the majors. $1971. These cards I feel like are always hard to find because the edges get beat up so well. But this one I felt like was really good when I came across it. I don't even remember where that was anymore. But yeah, it's 71 is definitely a good year. Really hard to find, I think, good collects for the 71 cards. Another famous year. Of course, I think maybe I should say this about all the cards in the 70s. But 1972, such a great year. I love the framing they did this year for Topps. And as you can see, that yellow is just really pops. And that is definitely something that caught my eye for this card specifically. Oh, let's see. Which TV and movie star is former big league first baseman? Chuck Connors. And yes, I have to look past the screen to be able to read these for some reason. I think I've dubbed 1973 as one of the most horrific cards or pictures for cards ever taken. One of my favorite ones from this year is Steve Garvey because you can't even see his face on his card. So pitchers intentionally walked Willie more than any other player. Now we talk about how often Judge gets walked, right? I mean, it's just very interesting. In a lot of ways, the game hasn't changed that much, and you can see Johnny Bench there in the image as well. This is the 1975 card, looking back to 1969. And MVPs for the league. So 1969 was a great year because for Herman Killebrew and then Willie McCovey. I don't have the 75 yet. I'm still working on that, but this is the 75 mini. Yellow comes out really well. And if you're wondering why I worry about yellow, yellow seems to fade very quick with UV light. So does red. But here you can see he's in his Padres uniform. He's going to spend several years with the Padres before going back to the Giants organization. And then for some reason, and I think it's because this got delayed in the mail, I have 2 from this year. So 1976 card. And let's see. This is the other one. I don't remember which one I ordered first anymore. I like this one better. Color's better. All right. What year is this? Is this 77? This is 77. I don't actually remember him with the A's, but maybe that was spent a little bit of time and got traded or something. But little smiley face, that's creative. I don't know if I ever noticed that before. Funny what you notice when you are making a video. Thought this was a solid year for cards being made. Again, maybe it's because I like the border, but back with the Giants. Also from 1978, and I will be honest, guys, I don't have many of these cards. But when I do find them, I like them. This is the Kellogg's 3D Superstar card, and I don't know how well it shows up. It looks like it's showing up fairly well. At least part of the background seems like it's, but you know, no cracks or anything in it. Looks really, really good in my opinion. $19.79 Topps. That list is getting long. Again, look at that average from his rookie year. Just amazing. Absolutely incredible. And the final year, and quite honestly, most people consider this the final year in vintage as well, right? The 1980 Topps card. Willie McCovey. Teammates with Willie Mays. McCovey Cove, named after him. That's all I got. Hey, thanks for watching. I know this was a long video. Appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to you later.